Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things AEW and WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in-depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Join us as we dive into the high-octane action, dramatic storylines, and backstage buzz of AEW and WWE. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. It's officially the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. WrestleMania is just 5 short days away, and this auspicious week is kicked off with a drama-laced, spirit-infused juice ball of Monday Night Raw. And as always, the dynamic duo is here at Top Tier Wrestling Podcast with all the vibe of a Jey Uso crash out. My name is Dawn, the Blasted Yapper, joined by my incredible co-host, Joshy TV. Family! Man, let's get into this.
Let's go. Hell yeah, WrestleMania season. Fuck yeah.
Most wonderful time of the year.
Psyched about this too. Especially since they revealed the card. I realized I was way more into a lot more matches than I thought I was.
I agree.
So I think it's gonna be
Yeah, it's good.
So we kick off this episode of Raw, which is taking place in Sacramento, California. With Gunter coming out to the ring and Michael Cole proceeding to attempt to interview him. And he tries to start out by asking him about, a couple weeks ago you did this to Jimmy, and last week Jey Uso did. And Gunter was like, last week Jey walked down to the ring, looked me in the eye, told me that he's not afraid of me anymore. And
he called Cap.
Then he said, well, hey, let me get to the point. Tonight, I'm here to let you and everybody else in the audience know that Jey Uso is full of crap.
Crap.
The most crap.
He's full of crap apples. Yeah.
And
so he was pretty much having his own little crash out. Like Gunther just came out there. It wasn't an interview. It was more like just him just screaming at the audience, at himself, and at the microphone he was holding. He was just big mad about it. Like everybody could get it.
Seriously, he basically yanked the mic out of Michael Cole's hand and proceeded to cut a promo, talking about how if you think he lost control and went too far with Jimmy, he's here to let you know in 37 years of his life, he never lost control. He was in complete control and absolutely loved bathing in Jimmy's blood. And he went on to say he would have drowned both Jey and both of them in Jimmy's blood, Jey and Jimmy. And he's looking forward next week to calling his mother and telling her how much he enjoyed it. And he says he's going to really like beating the living hell out of Jey Uso and walk out of WrestleMania the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, he was just full of screams.
Yeah, he looked awful out of control for a guy who's never lost control.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, and in fact, that's what Michael Cole essentially pointed out whenever Gunther got done with his temper tantrum.
Yeah, he seemed pretty shook.
Yeah, yeah. And hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. This is probably one of the matches that I am the most excited to see at
Oh,
WrestleMania.
this is the match that I'm excited to see. I am excited to see Cody Rhodes and John Cena, just because, I mean, come on, that's gonna be a spectacle. And I expect it
Yeah.
to be just full of all kinds of insanity.
Well, and
Uh,
of course, we're curious what role The Rock will play in it, right?
yeah, we're definitely curious about that because we know he's gonna have something to do with it. But just what? To what extent? And we'll talk about that probably later this week because we
Hmm.
do plan to have uh a another episode before WrestleMania takes place, where we can discuss more about our predictions and thoughts about WrestleMania in general. So I'll
Yep.
reserve some of that for that particular podcast.
Y'all heard it from Dynamite Dawn first. We are going to have a WrestleMania predictions episode. Probably sometime after this and before we talk about SmackDown or WrestleMania coming up. So it's going to be a
Correct.
good week. We're
Yeah.
going to be eating good.
It's gonna be a busy week and a busy weekend, and I am here for it.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, seriously, it's my freaking holiday in several ways. All right,
Wrestle Christmas.
Wrestling Christmas, Wrestle
Indeed.
Crumbles. All
Wrestle
right,
Crumbles.
I'm gonna reel that in, or reel this insanity in.
Ink, ink.
Uh, after Gunther has his little verbal crash out. Um, apparently that's the word of the day, or the phrase of the day. Um, After that, we find out that Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio are gonna be special guests on I don't know, something. I don't know. Anyway.
And then there was a Bianca Belair promo.
Yeah, and then there was a Bianca Belair promo. Um and I was actually kind of happy to hear from her because um I've heard Rhea's side. Like I know what Rhea's side is, and I can guess what Io's is going to be. I wanted to hear what Bianca had to say, especially in the face of, I know she can hear that she's getting some booze and whatnot, but it's essentially because she's not Rhea. Like the the fans are up on Rhea, and of course, like they want Rhea to win. And I can't say that I disagree with them. I am a huge fan of Rhea Ripley myself. Um,
Hmm.
but Bianca Belair's promo was as such. Uh, I'd be the first one to admit that lately I've been in my head. Everything that happened with Jade and Naomi, it really messed me up. And now this whole situation with Io and Rhea, it brought out a different version in me. But different isn't wrong. My road to WrestleMania has been nothing but blood, sweat, and tears. No complaining, no whining, no excuses. No, just straight facts. I've been doing nothing but standing up for myself and telling the truth. Something anybody would do, something that I hope they're teaching their kids to do. And you don't have to like the truth, but you can't deny it. Just like I can't deny that now it's a triple threat match. Yeah, I've been through a lot, but I'm still the best. So, I'm going to use everything that I've been through to be the Bianca that I know that I can be. I'm the Bianca that won the Elimination Chamber. I'm the Bianca that's never been pinned at WrestleMania. And I'm the strongest, the fastest, the roughest, the toughest, the quickest, the greatest, the best Bianca that you've ever seen. So, it doesn't matter that it's a triple threat because there's nothing that Rhea or Io can do to stop me from getting my flowers and walking out of WrestleMania as champion. Because you can't spell WrestleMania without EST. And that,
I mean, that's true.
yeah.
It'd be real awkward to be like, "What's Wrestlemania?" It's not as good.
True. It
Um,
sound really weird. That doesn't roll off the tongue.
no, no, not at all.
Yeah. Can't believe I read that whole thing. That's normally not my vibe.
Yeah,
But
but I
here
think
we
you were
are.
trying to convey what Miss Belair was trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. I figured it'd be best to put it in her words.
I can dig that. And I'll say similarly, like I understand people rooting for Rhea. Yeah, and I say this as someone who likes all three of these competitors. I do. That's why I'm very like into this match. But if I had to rank them in order of who I like most, it would be Rhea, Bianca, Io in that order. So
Yeah.
I totally get it. Um, that said, I have some speculations about what could go down here. I mean, they made it a triple threat, which makes it no DQ, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
You can't tell me.
oh, am I spoiling the surprise? Okay. I'm just worried I won't think of this later, but
Oh, okay.
it's
All right,
fine.
go. No,
I was
no.
I was just gonna say since it's a triple threat
Uh-huh.
and Naomi Jade takes place on night 1 and this match takes place on night 2, do you think there are some odds that Naomi becomes a factor? Because the way she's portraying her heel character, she is obsessed with Bianca.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on how wrecked she is the night before. But yeah,
That's
no,
a fair
that's
point.
a good point though. I do expect interference in some of these matches. Um, I don't know if it's gonna be in this one or not. I almost feel like they gave Naomi and Cargill something to do to keep them busy because of this. Kind of like well, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's on separate nights, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and I mean, there's a lot of ways there could be interference. I mean, I think the only one that there wouldn't be interference possibility for would be Rhea because, like, who's going to come out, Damien, and do what? Like in WWE, they don't let the fellas touch the women.
yeah,
Um, but Io still has all of damage control,
yeah,
so there's a lot that could go on. I think you're right. I'll probably save these speculations for the WrestleMania predictions because it'll be fun to speculate and then give like the actual prediction. But I'm excited for what the potential is in this match. It could go a lot of different ways, and at WrestleMania they like to whip out the surprises.
yeah.
With that said, we're brought to our first match of the night, which is Bayley versus Liv Morgan. And Bayley has Lyra Valkyria in her corner, and Liv, of course, has Raquel Rodriguez in hers. So this is like 50% of the women's tag team champion match as like an appetizer, I guess.
Yeah.
And these ladies apparently weren't worried about maybe getting hurt prior to Mania because this match was a slobber knocker. What
Yeah,
were your thoughts?
that's true. I was actually extremely impressed. Both Bailey and Liv, man, is looking so good in the ring as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
and I think I've said this before in a previous podcast. You can walk around in a shoestring bikini. You can deep throat a goalpost if you want. I don't care. You can do whatever you want as long as whenever it's time to do what you do in the ring, you do it. If you kill it, just get in there and do the damn thing.
Yep.
And Liv, she has been doing just that. Um, yeah, I honestly, I don't know, I'm just talking about Liv, but I have to because Liv is consistently impressing me every time she gets in the ring now. There's none of that bullshit that she used to do, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Uh, I'm not trying to dog anything that she has done in the past. I'm just saying that now, as of now, like she is looking like a champ, more like a champ than ever before. In my humble opinion, I think she's looking great. Um, Bailey has been proving to us, or showing us, as she sometimes does, reminding us that she goes hard on the paint. Um, she took some bumps tonight, and she also in the match that she
Mm.
had against Lyra, she took some bumps that were like ouchie. And she took a couple here with Liv, like a lot of it was a couple of slams out in the on the apron. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
yeah. Um, the Three Amigos I think was out there too. I think that's where Liv started it, although she only
Yep.
got two. Honestly, one is enough. So, you know, yeah, like this match was a great opening match. Um, and the women all night, they just kept fucking bringing it. What were your thoughts?
I agree with you. Liv was actually brutal in this match, and
Yeah,
for the better part of it, I'm not saying Bailey didn't have some turnarounds and offensive runs, but for the better part of it, Liv was kicking the shit out of her.
yeah,
Like surprisingly so. Like her kicks looked mean. When she was stomping her out in the corner, it looked vicious. I don't know if Bailey was like, "Hey, like kick my ass for real," because that's the most believable. But it looked like that. And you made mention of the three amigos out on the ring apron. Like I think there was also a point where like Bailey tried to do that like through the bottom rope suicide dive and like ate it in the face.
yeah.
Got punched out trying to do it. But yeah, outside the biggest bumps, the nastiest looking bumps was Liv doing the three amigos because it's usually a pretty big deal to get suplexed outside the ring on the floor once. She did it twice. She did the two amigos, and then Bailey started trying to counter, but then Liv took her up on the ring steps and did the third of the three amigos off the ring steps onto the floor. So
Yeah.
Bailey ate some nasty ass bumps here. And so I'm sitting there thinking, man, Liv is kicking the life out of Bailey.
Yeah.
But then it took a turn near the end of the match. I want to say uh, Bailey ends up doing like an anti-air stunner when Morgan comes off the corner, potentially for a flying code breaker. And so Morgan is blitzed into the unit, into the next world with,
Yeah.
with this stunner. And after that, Bailey gets a hold of her and hits her straight up with a Bailey to belly. But it gets it doesn't make the 3 count because at that point they're near the ropes and Raquel grabs Liv's foot and tries to put it over the rope.
a
Didn't
little
quite
leg nub.
succeed. Didn't quite succeed, but Liv put her foot and held it there, so it wasn't so bad. And that's when Valkyria and Rodriguez start brawling outside the ring area. And I want to say, like, Raquel dropped Valkyria with a big boot that looked like it kicked her head the fuck off. But then they go back and show what's happening in the ring, and I think Raquel tried to get into the ring at one point to distract the ref, and it pissed Bailey off, so she hits Rodriguez with the middle rope stunner, which she sold beautifully because she ended up doing basically a headstand through the middle rope. But that ends up causing enough of a distraction that Liv is able to kind of jump her from behind, and that sends Bailey into the ropes, and it sets up Morgan to go for Oblivion, and we're like, there it is. But Lyra Valkyria held on to Bailey so that Liv basically just threw herself to the mat.
Yeah.
I mean, not Bailey, Liv threw herself to the mat trying to do Oblivion. And that allows Bailey to hit the new finisher move, the new guaranteed you're going to win the match finishing move, which is a jackknife pin. She grabs up Liv's legs and hits her with a jackknife pin, and really, like, I think she used her own legs to add extra leverage to it somehow, and Liv just got 1, 2, 3'd out that quick. So even though Liv spent the majority of that match beating the life out of Bailey, Bailey ends up picking up the win.
Yeah, no,
So
she was beating the dust off of that.
yeah, beating the brakes off of her.
Yeah.
Now Jacob's gonna have to be like, well, damn it, now Bailey's all gas and no brakes. What do I say?
Yeah. Not running.
Naramin? I do. But yeah, altogether a fantastic opening match. I agree with your take on it.
Yeah.
These women wrestled their asses off. And that's what I really want to see. Like, I'm with you. I don't mind if they want to look good doing it. That's not my issue.
Nope.
Um, I mind if your only selling point is that you're out there trying to look like a hoochie model instead of an actual wrestler.
Yeah.
And to that end, I give Liv a lot of credit. Like, there was a real credibility issue with Liv for a long time. Like, all of her championship runs were tainted with an asterisk. Like, yeah, but you beat them while they were down, or and
Yeah.
now like she's legitimately beating the brakes off of Bailey. So
Yeah.
this is going to be probably a really good match at WrestleMania for this women's tag team championship, and I'm here for it because all four of these competitors. I would say the one that might be the wild card could be Raquel, but she's been looking better since she came back too.
Yeah.
Like has improved. So I'm hoping she can hold up her end, but I have no doubts about Liv, and I have zero doubts about Bailey or Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah. No. Lyra, man, beast mode.
Engaged.
Yeah. Yeah. Fully locked in. Um. So
And
the
then
winner. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say the winner via pinfall, Bailey. I was about to move on, but I think you're about to say something else.
I was with you and moving on. I was just going to mention that there was then a CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman video package.
Yeah.
Which was the lead-in to them showing Paul Heyman, the wise man, sitting backstage awaiting the arrival of the tribal chief.
Just him sitting around waiting.
Yep. Followed by a response promo to what Bianca got started earlier. Would you like to speak to Rhea's promo?
Yes. Rhea gave us more of the. Rhea is kind of crazy right now, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, she's having a moment. But she says, Bianca, I can see right through you. You said you were just out there to watch, and then you said you were just out there to call it down the middle. But I can see your true intentions now. You thrive on playing my emotions, winding me up like I'm sort of a toy to you. Um, just so you could get what you want and make me seem like I'm the bad guy. It's kind of crazy in my opinion, but okay. It's like, I'm just saying, this is crazy work. The thing that you fail to understand is that when I lose something that I love, I will stop at nothing to get it back. And Io, I never had to give you a championship match, but watching you pout and moan, it really pulled at the heartstrings that I have left. So I used a page out of your book, and I got what I wanted too. So Io, I advise you to cherish every single moment you have with the Women's World Championship. And Bianca, I can't wait to make you feel what it's like when I'm the bad guy. Because at WrestleMania 41, I get back what belongs to me.
Oh, snap. Mommy's pissed.
Mommy's crazy, but yeah, she's also pissed. And the last thing you want is a pissed and crazy mommy.
Yeah, I don't think she's that crazy. I mean, let's be real. Bianca being at ringside did play a part in her loss to Io, and then
To watch, right? But like, that's something that. How many times have we seen wrestlers just watching? So the fact that Rhea was so invested in her being there was the problem. The fact that Rhea honestly believes that she was cheering Io on. Actually, no. No. You know what? She knows that she was cheering on both of them, but she's still just mad she was cheering on Io. Like, this is some insanity
which
right
one
here.
of us is the heel co-host? I don't.
Listen.
I'm gonna play your part. Look, Bianca didn't need to be out there, so she was putting her nose where it didn't belong in the first place. Doesn't matter who she was cheering for. And then who's to say she didn't do some politicking and then just act surprised when she managed to get put as the special guest referee in a match she has a completely vested interest in?
Listen, I'm saying this because I honestly believe that Bianca Belair is going to go heel. So we will see who's on the right side of history when this podcast is aired. I'm telling you.
I don't
I think
know.
she's going heel.
I think Rhea Ripley is looking more heelish these days.
She is, but the fans won't let her be a heel. Like even when she is a heel, they're just like, ah. I mean, so
Yeah, that's how you know she's great at it. She's a heel that will get cheered because she's just that damn good.
Rhea
Um,
can do whatever she freaking wants,
hey,
whatever she
you'll
wants.
get no argument from me about that. I mean, who's going to stop her?
But
Um,
I actually think that they're going to make it. Right now, they're making it sound like Rhea is unhinged. But I honestly think that it's going to be. I think she's going to be right, and I think that it's Bianca Belair is going to do some screwing over. She might even be on the side of Naomi.
Naomi. Oh, that would be pretty cool. But we'll have to see. I'm
You gotta
curious.
look at how she's been dressing lately.
Yeah, we'll see. I have some different predictions, but I put them away because we
I
have a
know. We gotta
show.
talk about. Yeah.
But I'm intrigued a lot by this match and the potential things that could happen. There's so many things.
Yeah.
So I don't know how high on the card this sits for most people, but I'm really into what's happening with like Bianca and Naomi and Jade and Rhea and Io.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
really, really into Naomi. Naomi, when she was a face, loved it. But now, Evil Cakes?
Evil Cakes is amazing.
Evil Cakes is everything.
I wasn't sure how such a bubbly and like cheerful, the glow up was gonna be as a heel. I was like, she's too sweet to be a heel. I was wrong. And I apologize to the cakes. Um,
Apologize to the cakes.
tell me how I can make it up to the cakes, and you got it. But I'll be sure to proceed with caution. It sounds dangerous. These are danger cakes now.
Danger Cakes, yeah.
Danger cakes.
These
But
are
she's done a great job as a heel, and
yeah.
I'm here for every ounce of it. And I mean no sexism when I say this, but this might be one of the years at WrestleMania where I am as hyped for some of the women's matches as I am what the guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand how you mean that, so I get it.
But yeah, I'm here for it, and I look forward to some more speculation and potential predictions for the upcoming episode. That said, we move on from Rhea Ripley's promo to the second match of the night, which is Rey Mysterio with the LWO versus Julius Creed with American Made. And this is another teaser match for a match that's going to play out at WrestleMania, which is El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio. And what were your thoughts on this match?
So surprisingly, and I say surprisingly, I hate to sound like like a tool by saying surprisingly, but this match was there were like two matches that were kind of on the weaker side, and they just happened to be like two of the men's matches. This is one of them. I'm not saying it was bad. This was not a bad match, but on the grand scale of all the other matches that happened, this is probably this and one other one that I could think of were probably on the like lower scale, but still good. Okay, still good. Like I'm not talking shit about this particular match.
So good matches, but not your top matches for the night.
Right. This was not a top match, but it was still good. Jay. Goodness gracious. Ray. Ray J.
You got yeet on the brain.
No, I mean, listen, Ray and Jay, they sound the same. But,
Yeet.
Rey Mysterio and Julius Creed work very well together. I've seen them in the ring together before, and the Creed brothers have always, like, I can see that they treat and they handle Rey Mysterio with with like love gloves. Like, they are very careful when getting in there. They're good in general. I can see that, but they are extra when they are dealing with someone like Rey Mysterio. Like, there's nothing but respect there, and I could see that very well in this match. And I could also see that Julius was having a great time throwing Rey Mysterio around, and I could tell that Rey Mysterio was having a great time being thrown around. It looked like they were roughhousing. That's what it looked like.
Yeah,
Like they were
yeah.
having the best time ever, just playing around and yeeting each other around the ring. So with that, I mean, because of that, it was a good match. It looked good. It looked, but again, it was just it wasn't like match of the night, but still a good match. There was
Agree.
like one teeny tiny flub that I saw
Oh, do tell.
on Rey Mysterio's part. It was when I think he was trying to I don't know the name of the move, but he was trying to flip him out of the ring.
Oh, with a leg whip or Hurricane Rana. They look
Yes,
very similar.
yeah,
I'm not sure
and
if that was Ray's fault or if Julius didn't catch him well enough, but it was a flub.
I don't know, but his legs, like the legs didn't really connect uh around, Julius's neck. It was just kind of more
Yeah.
like you got a hint of what he was trying to do. But yeah, definitely Hurricane Rana.
Yeah. It's one of
But
those ones where the announcer will be like, he didn't catch all of it. And it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And Julius still sold it as best he could. Yeah. What did you have to say about this here match?
For the most part, I enjoyed it because, like, Rey Mysterio, I think, especially for getting on as he is, still can go in with these young guys. You know, that little
Yeah,
minor flub notwithstanding. Um, because he still looks good in the ring with somebody like Julius Creed, who is an
yeah.
absolute monster. Like, he is ridiculous. And I know like Rey Mysterio only weighs like 167 pounds, but it was still impressive for Julius Creed to essentially like catch him out of a like baseball slide suicide dive and then from his knees suplex him up on the apron. Like he's on the floor and he from that position puts Ray in a vertical suplex, but he's like Julius is on his knees. And so Julius then from there with Ray vertically held stands up and then proceeds to walk around, climb the stairs, and it looks like he's about to just yeet Rey Mysterio in the ring, but Ray is able to turn it around on him. But still an impressive feat of strength. I mean,
Yeah.
even though it's Rey Mysterio and he's not the biggest wrestler, that's still another human being that Julius did that with. So kudos. Um, and I felt like it was just they have good chemistry, Julius
They
and
do.
Ray, and so does Brutus and Ray. As a matter of fact, I think they like working with each other. And I agree with everything you said. Like they look like they were having a hell of a time. Like this was two wrestlers that were genuinely enjoying their work this evening. Um, that said, there was a point where there was a little bit of interference, and it got LWO up on the apron, and then it got all the rest of American Made up on the apron, and the ref just pitched all of them out, and I thought that was great. Like I thought, what did Pat McAfee say? He something like a 6-pack or something, you know, like because
Yes.
all three of the members from each side just dismissed it once, so they all have to leave. And like Chad Gable, they show him walking away, and he's like, this is bullcrap." I
Bull
think he
crap,
said
yeah,
because
this is bull crap.
and he's like, "This is America." And he went full Karen. I was waiting for him to say, "I know my rights." Um, but
Go
then
look for the manager.
right, she's talking with Chelsea Green right now. Um, but That part was pretty good, and it's like, okay, it's looking like this is about to be a match that's just Julius and Ray, and that didn't last for long because before long, out comes El Grande Americano. So it's like you thought you got rid of everybody, and then here's El Grande Americano, and he comes out there and he starts interfering, and it's kind of indirect at first. Um, Then I want to say Mysterio was able to, even with the distraction, uh, he steps up and he starts distracting Ray, and Ray comes over and starts trying to rip his mask off. And so we're like, uh-oh, we're going to know the identity of El Grande Americano, the most well-kept secret in the entire world, because nobody has any idea who he is.
No, it's a mystery.
It is an absolute mystery. And it looks like Julius is trying to get one on Mysterio because he tries to roll him up for a 2 count. And this leads to a situation where Mysterio kicks out and then shoves Creed directly into El Grande Americano. And this knocks El Grande Americano, obviously, like 5 miles up the entrance ramp. Because he leapt like he got hit by a bus. And then it leaves Julius in the position to get 619, and Mysterio hits it, and then he drops the dime, and he picks up the victory. However, after that, all hell breaks loose because El Grande Americano comes into the ring and like deals a running, flying headbutt to Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio's like, "Brr, he's dead." And then the LWO come out, and Americano kind of does the same thing, delivering headbutts, like the running headbutt and the diving headbutt, and that just kills everybody on the LWO. And we find out that he's still using that loaded mask. You know, that little tiny piece of steel in it makes it suddenly like super deadly.
Yeah, because there was backstage footage of him putting clearly, like he was in front of the camera, putting a metal piece inside of his mask.
Yeah, I don't think he was even backstage. I think he was sitting next to the barricade after he got knocked off the apron, and that's when he did it.
Okay. Wow.
It's a mystery. Like the announcers were like, "Oh, Adam Pearce is going to have to launch an investigation." I'm like, "No, he's just going to have to look at footage from tonight if he's not currently watching the show. Like, you guys got it on instant replay. This isn't a mystery."
My goodness.
But it was fun, is what I will say. You're right.
Yeah.
It might not have been the match of the night, but it was still fun. Maybe it's just me, but I like some of the goofier stuff about pro wrestling, depending on what it is. But this whole El Grande Americano thing, and like Rey Mysterio and the LWO are super pissed off about it because it's an affront to Lucha Libre. I am here for it. It is ridiculous and awesome, and it's like that kind of cheese ridiculous shit that I like in pro wrestling. It's very fun.
Yep. And Finn.
Am fan. And so your winner was Rey Mysterio by pinfall. However, El Grande Americano laid out everybody. So the war is still up for who's going to win that.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we are taken backstage to Jackie Redmond, who is attempting to interview the New Day. And they, of course, because they're heels, have to insult the existence of Jackie and her temerity for even talking to them, even though that's like her whole job. But whatever. They say, I think she mentions that the War Raiders had mentioned that it's going to be war when they face off at WrestleMania. And so the New Day says, well, they're not worried about any wars because they've been dealing with that every single week. I mean, you hear how the fans have been treating them. Everybody in the locker room's treating them. So they've been in a war the entire time. The war will stop once they take back the World Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, and they show the entire world why they're the greatest tag team of all time. Last week was just a taste of what they're willing to do to get those titles back. And then the WWE Universe will have no choice but to drop to their knees and say, thank God for the New Day. Quote, unquote. Xavier, why do you need everybody to drop to their knees?
Like, seriously, when has anyone ever... You guys have had gold before.
Must
when you
resist
walked around,
saying Saraya. Must resist saying Saraya. Oh, sorry.
Oh my God. When you walked around, how many people, not women, not fucking groupies, you freaks, how many people saw you guys drop to their knees and they were like, thank God for the new day? When has it happened? Exactly. So, that led us into our Warrior promo.
Nah, I, I think it's just out of order, but you get the gist of it. Earlier in the night, the War Raiders told the New Day it's going to be war. So,
Yeah.
that in fact will lead us to our third match of the night, which is AJ
Oh, okay.
Styles versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett Bordeaux. And well, I got a few things to say about this.
Go ahead.
But
Please
would
do.
you like to give your quick thoughts on it?
No,
Any
no, go ahead.
opinion
Go
you
ahead.
had? Okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
One, this I think for me was the weakest match of the night, at least
Mm-hmm.
between AJ and Karrion. I didn't find much of the wrestling to be super inspiring, unfortunately. And I was really kind of hoping for a better showing from Karrion Kross since she hasn't been in a ring in what feels like forever. But
Yeah.
they didn't even televise his entrance, which I know that they have for time been skipping entrances, but we haven't seen Karrion Kross's entrance since like the dismantling of the Final Testament. So it was like, well, what's he coming with? Because he's kind of redone his whole character as this, like, the devil, aka I look like a vampire now. So I thought maybe there'd be a whole new entrance thing, and we're finally getting to see Kross. So I felt a little shortchanged on seeing Karrion Kross in the ring for the first time in 1,000 billion years. And him and Styles, it was. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like I can't point at like a bunch of flubs, but it just wasn't that entertaining either. I mean, it was nothing to make me feel inspired or fired up. Hell, Karrion Kross didn't even try to go for the final prayer. His
Yeah.
fireman's carry into a DDT. He went with the damn cross hammer, the worst damn finisher since the bull hammer. I don't know why I hate it when he does it. There's like one person in wrestling right now who does a running kind of like forearm elbow thing that I think looks worth two squirts of piss, and that's Will Ospreay. His hidden
Yeah.
blade, I think he makes that look compelling enough to be a finisher. Everybody else, it just looks like I was too lazy to actually do a move. So I was underwhelmed with this match. I did,
Yeah.
however, appreciate kind of what happened afterwards. Um, but did you want to give your thoughts before I get to that? Because then I'm gonna have to
I
say how it ended and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I tend to share your sentiments. This was probably the weakest match of the night for me. Um, and I just didn't feel any chemistry there between AJ and Carrion. Nor did I really care about what the storyline is supposed to be here. Um, something like Carrion is trying to make AJ evil AJ Styles again or some shit. Why? Don't know, don't care. So yeah, this I don't know what they're doing, and I thought besides that Styles had his issues with Logan anyway. So I'm not sure what Karen is doing and why.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. At this point,
So
I'm becoming less intrigued with Karrion Kross's character and whatever he's trying to do because it seems like it's another road to nowhere for him. If
yeah,
this is any indication. And you're right. I mean, it's just a self-insert. Like I didn't see him push AJ Styles to like some sort of limit that will force him to bring out, the meaner, darker AJ or anything. I mean, it was a mediocre match.
yeah.
So
And he did
I'm,
mediocre damage. Like I'm not really sure.
yeah,
I'm not really sure what we're supposed to get from that, and it was little pretty. It was pretty disappointing. I'll say that. So
yeah, yeah. Just not. Not a super inspirational match, and I think more so because I'm with you. I don't know what their intention is. Like, where's this thing with Cross going? Because we've been watching like these little breadcrumbs, like, oh, this is going somewhere, and now I'm like, is it though? Or do they
Yeah.
just not have an idea of what the hell they're going to do with Karrion Cross? Like, which is how I felt the entire time he's been on the main roster. The first
Yep.
time I felt like they had an idea of what the hell was happening with Karrion Cross was the Final Testament, and then like everybody in that's not Karrion and Scarlett got fired. So, and they killed the feud with Wyatt Six. So now it just seems way up in the air with nowhere to go. And while Karrion can play a interesting character, it can't stay interesting if it never goes anywhere. And that's how I'm starting to really feel about it. That's why I was excited to see him get in the ring and why I'm disappointed that this is all that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think there was also Michael Cole calling some regular ass move the final prayer. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It sure as shit was not. Like, I think it was a Death Valley driver he ended up doing off the shoulder. And Michael was like, oh, the final prayer. He hits it for only a 2 count. And I'm like, that wasn't the final prayer, you twat. Are you new? Michael Cole, how long have you been doing this?
Man, yeah.
I might be able to give him a pass because ain't nobody seen Karrion Cross in the ring for 8,000 years, but fuck. I mean, fans can spot the moves better. Fucking Pat McAfee, who's been doing this equivalent to you, Michael Cole, for 5 seconds, can call it correctly. So yeah, just not thrilled with the match. I was more interested in what ended up happening after the match. Long story short, AJ Styles connects with the phenomenal forearm to pick up the victory. And then Logan Paul comes out talking a bunch of mad crap to him, and AJ finally says, well, that's a cute little video, because he showed off a promo video of Logan talking like just a bunch of mad shit. So AJ says, that's a cute video, smart ass, but why don't we start WrestleMania early and bring your ass to this ring? So Logan drops the mic and heads towards the ring. And Karrion Cross comes up behind Styles, and Styles proceeds to start punching the shit out of both Logan and Cross. And he absolutely drills Karrion Cross with a reverse DDT, which was like a very perfect Scorpion Death Drop.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, though, after he does that allows Paul to deliver the titanium punch. Air quotes on that. And after that, Logan hits Styles with the pulverizer, which I don't care what people think of Logan Paul. I mean, I'm sure he's a guy who elicits strong opinions, one way or the other. But the pulverizer is goddamned cool. Yeah. That is an amazing finish. He starts at like a backdrop suplex, but flips him all the way over, and then turns in the middle of it towards his opponent as they're flipping, and catches their heads into a DDT. It is crazy cool.
Yeah,
I am a huge fan of the pulverizer. You can dislike Logan Paul, but the pulverizer is cool.
Yeah, you'll get no argument from me. So
that was the most interesting part of that entire match for me, was Logan Paul hitting the pulverizer. I mean, real talk. So suffice it to say, the winner by pinfall of that match was AJ Styles. I'm hoping that the in-ring will be very good in that match, because the build-up hasn't been electrical for me. Like this. I mean, do you feel like there's a lot of tension? This is a big heat match, or does this just feel like a match? Like they needed AJ and Logan to have something to do?
No, when I talked about it earlier, I just said there's no chemistry here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. This is a nothing match.
So I'm really hoping that they can make it something special with the in-ring performance, because I've had a hard time with the heat. I think that's just always been kind of the situation with AJ, though. Like, AJ
Yeah.
has a very milk toast kind of personality to him, I think. So he just doesn't inspire me one way or the other.
Yeah.
Um I'm actually more interested in rooting for Logan Paul going into that match because he's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
I know, blasphemy. I've spoken out against the phenomenal AJ Styles, but I mean, it's not my cup of tea, guys. I mean, if he's your all-time
Yeah.
favorite wrestler, then you probably like CM Punk as well. So screw you. Um. Oh, sorry, that's right. I'm not the heel host. Then let me rephrase. If he's your favorite wrestler, then I'm sorry, he's not mine. We'll just have to agree to disagree.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure why everybody hates Logan. I think he's pretty humble. And
Like so humble, like the
yeah.
humble most.
Yeah, I don't get what the big deal is.
I mean,
Um
so humble that he has a video package do the talking for him because he was too humble to say it about himself.
yeah, he's the one talking about himself all the time. Like people are always talking about him, but he doesn't want to talk about himself all the time.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
it's a humble man. I don't know. Haters gonna hate, I guess.
Haters
Um
gonna hate. And then we are brought to a Jey Uso promo. And as I know that Jey Uso is like your all-time favorite wrestler, you want to be him when you grow up. Would you like to speak to this?
okay. So, Jason comes out. His music is popping. He gets on the announcer's table, and the audience is going through uh yeets and one more time. And finally the one more time kicks in. So Jey Uso has to put his shades back on because that's the only way that he can initiate the song, you see. And then he gestures to do the one more time, and like just run it back one more time, and then he points to the audience to let them know that it's the audience would like to hear this one more time, and then the song kicks in again, and he goes back to his bobbin. He does not yeet. He has not yeeted since his uh brother has been brutally beaten in front of him. No more yeeting. He has cast it aside. He is not the yeet man. However, he does still like that jam. He
He
does still like
does.
to
He
bob
do
to
be
it.
liking that jam. Yep.
So he comes out and he says, "All right, check it." I
You
said
checking
what
it?
I said. I said what I had to say to Gunther last week, but I really wanted to
Yeet.
come out here and holler at y'all. Yeah,
Yeet.
yeah, yeah, my people. What's up? That town. My mama out there somewhere in the crowd.
When
And
he said that, I thought, don't let Gunter know where she is, though.
yes, I was just about to point that out. But look, Oos. Everybody keep asking me, Oos, Jay, where your mind at? Am I crashing out? Hell yeah, I'm crashing out. But I'm locked in. Locked in me, locked in for my family, locked in for y'all. But check it out though. Hold up, listen. Listen to Gunther out here talking. You know, you know what that made me feel like? He mad. No, you're afraid. Yeah, Gunther, you're afraid. You're afraid that I'm about to whoop your ass in front of 60,000 people for the World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestlemania. But look, though, I'm going to see you on Saturday. I'm going to see you on Saturday, Oos. Gunther, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, cuz. Here's what we're going to do. One time for the one time. Hey, Oos, please, hear my music. Oh, yeah. Yeet.
Yeet. Good stuff. Oh, man. Jey
That
Uso
was
is
his
great.
promo. Down sis. Day
Day
one ish.
one
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I feel like Jay is in an awkward place because he clearly likes to come out there and do the yeet, but out of respect for that beating, he's holding off on that yeeting.
Yeah.
But he had to get a little bit, had to give him a little taste.
He had to
And
refrain from that yeeting beating.
exactly. And I think he's right. I mean, I think Gunter is shook
I think he is, yeah.
out his boots.
I agree, Bo.
But after that promo, for probably the match that we're one of the matches we're the most keenly interested in,
Yeah.
we are taken backstage where Kathy Kelly is attempting to have an interview with Braun Breaker. Poor Kathy Kelly, had a rough night.
Hmm.
Um, and she asks how he's navigating the biggest title defense of his career. And Braun starts to try to answer that question, but then, like, all three of the male members of the Judgment Day, Carlito, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio, immediately ambush Breaker and, like, three-man beat down the crap out of him
Yeah.
until it's broken up by Adam Pearce and the referee crew. So that segment ends with Braun Breaker holding his shoulder and wincing.
I don't know why I laughed at that. I don't know. I don't know why wincing is funny.
I mean, he was, though.
Yeah.
And we are then told that Cena and Cody Rhodes will have their final confrontation this Friday on SmackDown. And that sort of leads us into our fourth match, which is Penta El Cero Miedo versus Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. And this was actually a pretty good match. I
Yeah, we were
enjoyed it
back on track with good matches
thoroughly.
when this one popped in. If I may,
You
I'll be
may.
brief. Uh, I like to see Penta and Finn together. They look good in the ring. Um, I don't know if it's because Penta spent a lot of his a lot of his career, not all of it, but a lot of his career in a tag team with his brother. But he's able to work well with most other competitors that gets into the ring with. Um, and I think Finn is kind of Penta sized, like he's like about the same size, so maybe that has something to do with it. Um, but yeah, they both look good, and I'm actually liking this little dominant vibe they're giving Finn Balor. Um, in this particular, uh, I guess relationship between between the three. Um, they're doing a great job of making making Finn looking like a real one. Boy, that sentence just came out of my mouth and just came out stupid. So he looking like a man. Okay, so
And
I'm
looking
done with my
good.
mouth. I'm done with my mouth face. It is clearly broken. So please, what did you think of this match?
Well, I think I was picking up what you were putting down, nonetheless.
Yeah,
That you're enjoying the dominant vibe that Finn has amongst the other members of the Judgment Day. I'm enjoying the fact that the Judgment Day isn't looking like a complete joke.
yeah.
Um,
And neither is Finn. They're making Finn look like a real one, and I appreciate that because he's good in the ring.
yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly that Penta and Finn have great chemistry.
Yeah,
I think it's because they both sort of have that high speed style, and while Finn isn't exactly a luchador, he is a very technical high flyer.
yeah,
So it works out great. Their styles are very compatible. And there was some really good like move into counter move into a new move into a counter move. Just to give an example, there was one point where Penta attempted to go for the Penta driver, and I want to say Balor counters and then is set up for hitting the slop drop, which is that sort of like elbow DDT move that he likes to do. And then Penta countered out of that. So it was a bunch of like attack and counterattack and reverse and reverse. It was very good.
Yeah.
One thing we did notice during the match is that I want to say they were both on the apron, and I think it might have been just before Balor did like a back body drop to Penta, but Balor put up the Wolfpack sign and said "too sweet," and we were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, a little shout out to the Bullet Club for
Yeah.
some reason, or maybe even the NWO, but more likely the Bullet Club. And overall, this was a very solid match between these two. Um, I want to say near the end of the match, Finn attempted to go for the shotgun drop kick, but Penta countered with like a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And then with Finn on the ground, he does the sacrifice, snapping Finn's arm way far back. And it looked like he was setting up for the Penta driver. But at that point, Balor counters it into a roll-up pin for a 2 count. Stepping up from that, it's a flurry of strikes followed by like a long series of kicks, including like a really nasty super kick at the end. And like for the whole time, Finn is standing up for all of it. And then once he gets that final super kick, he finally sort of just falls to the mat. We were like, man, Finn's just hanging in there getting these kicks. And it looked like Penta was about to set up for the Mexican Destroyer, but then the Judgment Day show up and they distract him. And Balor tries to go for the 2 count roll-up pin again. And then he ends up ducking a clothesline from Penta and then answering with his own sling blade. And then blasts Penta with a shotgun drop kick. But right about this time, Braun Breaker's music starts to play. And all of the Judgment Day are looking like, uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. And Carlito is standing out there, and it's looking like it's about to be a repeat of the super spear that deleted him last week. And so Carlito's looking brave for like 1 second until Braun starts to break out into a run, and then Carlito like jumps into the ring and crawls all the way across to the other side and rolls out of the ring.
He had apparently jumped over the commentary table. That's what Michael Cole said.
He was like, damn near broke my leg coming over. And at that point, Breaker just rushes the ring and immediately clotheslines the life out of Finn, causing the disqualification. And then I want to say the Judgment Day gets in there. The brave one is actually Dominic Mysterio in this instance. He gets in there and hits Braun from the back, knocking him to the ground, and then him and Carlito start doing the kicks. Mm-hmm. But in relatively short order, he's able to kind of break free from that, and he ends up getting them in such a way that they're lined up just right for him to spear both Dominic and Carlito, so he gets a 2-for-1 spear. Hitting them both, and they're like, "Burk," and that's that for them. And then he goes to the corner, and it's opposite the corner that Penta is still recovering in, and he sets up to spear Penta, but Penta ends up kicking the crap out of him as he runs close. And he ends up hitting Breaker with a series of kicks, like a spinning back kick and a super kick. And then he does a head scissors takeover, which sends Breaker to the outside. And then he runs up the corner and does this really big flying crossbody block that lands on Breaker and the members, Carlito and Dominic. And so he wipes out all 3 of them and then gets back in the ring. And Finn is a little further up the entranceway, just mean mugging Penta. And Penta's like, get in here. Come on, bring it. I'll take you all on. And so that ends that particular match, and it was hell's bells. I'm interested in how this Fatal 4-Way is going to go, especially after getting to see how Finn and Penta work together.
Yep.
But
I am excited.
The winner in that match was, of course, Finn Balor because of the disqualification called in his favor when Braun Breaker interfered.
Yeah.
So another win over Penta, but technically he still hasn't been pinned.
Technically.
Technically. And that then, well, I'm sorry, was there stuff you wanted to speak to some
No, no,
more
no,
in
no,
that
no,
match?
no.
Okay.
No, I said it all.
All right. Then that brings us to Io Sky's promo. Should I, or would you like to?
I don't mind if I do.
Go for it.
Her promo was as follows. This was mostly in Japanese. And I don't speak Japanese. And even if I did, you get no Japanese for free. This message is for Bianca Belair
Nani?
and Rhea Ripley. You keep forgetting that I'm the women's world champion. You push me out of the way of your petty fights like I mean nothing. But I'm the whole reason you're fighting in the first place. Because I have the one thing you both want, the women's world championship. So I'm done being ignored. I'm done being forgotten. Because you have to go through me to get this title. And I'm not afraid to take you both on to defend it. I've beaten both of you before, and I'll beat you again. At WrestleMania, you will never forget the name Io Sky, Women's World Champion.
Ooh wee. Io Sky was on Io Fire.
She dropped
I
them
mean it.
Io bars.
She did. I know that the whole thing, well, most of it was in Japanese. Like when she was saying, names and saying women's world champion, she said that in English, but her delivery was so good, so convicted that we like when it was over, we were like, "Ooh, Io, talk your shit."
Mm-hmm.
It was good. So, again, another reason to be excited about this match. I mean, these three women, they are top of their game, so I think it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, I agree.
That said, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think that was pretty much the last match of the night. This does lead us into the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins segment.
Indeed. And it starts out with Paul Heyman sitting, I want to say in the parking lot, by some crates. But it's in such a way that you can see a black SUV starting to roll up. But before that happens, CM Punk plops down right next to him. And I forget exactly what he said, but it was something like, Paul, look into my eyes. What do you see? And Paul just looks at him confused and cheesily says, the cult of personality? And at that point, Roman Reigns steps out, comes around the SUV, takes one look over to see CM Punk and Paul Heyman sitting there, and then just sort of disgustedly starts walking towards the ring, and Paul Heyman rushes to catch up, like, my tribal chief, my tribal chief! So he's power waddling after the tribal chief, which starts the segment. So Roman gets into the ring and asks Sacramento to acknowledge him. But before he asks that question, Paul Heyman's standing there with a mic in his hand, ready to give it to the tribal chief, and the tribal chief just walked past him and got a mic from, ringside. And Paul Heyman, for the remainder of what Roman's about to say, just stood there looking confused and hurt about it. So Don, what was it you were saying? This is like a lover's quarrel right here?
Honestly, this felt like I think the comment that I made was Paul Heyman is the ugliest woman that two men have ever fought over in WWE history.
Yes, that was so
I think
good.
that's what I said. Because this is kind of how they're acting. Like Roman, oh sorry, he gets out of his vehicle, and so CM Punk had just told Paul Heyman, basically he had just whispered some words that Paul Heyman wants to hear, something like, you're my friend, I'd never betray you, or I'd never treat you like crap, and all this stuff. And he has his arm around Paul, and then Roman walks up like, oh, and and then Heyman's looking at him like, but I can explain. And
It's
then
not what it looks like.
Roman storms into the arena. Late as hell, by the way. If you just showed up to work, you could have stayed home with that bullshit. Cause you late. Um, and he like you know, like you said, he has the Paul Heyman, the human duck waddling behind him. Um, and they get into the ring as you stated, and Paul Heyman has a mic for Roman that he's like trying to give to him. But Roman don't want that. He doesn't want that tainted betrayer's mic. So he gets another mic from whoever out there on the apron.
He doesn't need that cheater's mic.
Yeah. Yeah, because the woman that he thought he had found um just for him is now talking to other men and he just can't stand it. So, yeah. Just a bit
Well,
gay.
I mean, that's what happens when, your girl starts doing favors for other fellas.
Yeah, you know?
And Roman goes on to say, after he demands that Sacramento acknowledge him, that the whole world can feel that. The whole world can hear that you love and acknowledge your tribal chief. And now the whole world understands that you would never betray your tribal chief. But not everyone's like you. Some people would betray me. And he mean mugs Paul Heyman. Sacramento, you got any guesses who that might be? Sacramento had some ideas. And he goes on to say, wise man, how can you betray me? Sacramento, the wise man, he can't hear you because they started chanting, you fucked up. And Roman was like, yeah, turn that up a notch. And so he says, you got to say it a little louder. And then he finishes off by asking one simple question in one word. Why? And Paul Heyman goes on to say, my tribal chief, it was not a betrayal. I paid back a favor that I owed. And Roman Reigns then addresses Sacramento again. He says, Sacramento, I must be a little bit confused here. The way favors work, you usually pay it back yourself, correct? And Sacramento's like, yeah. It feels like the only person getting screwed in this little favor is me. And there's one thing you know about me. If there is one thing that you know about your tribal chief, we ain't ever going to ask for a favor. Nah. We take what we want. So I don't owe a favor because I never asked for any help. I never asked for anybody to join me at War Games. Therefore, I never asked for this favor. So please tell me how I'm supposed to cover the tab for your dumbass favor. Ooh. And smelling the budding drama, Seth Rollins' music begins to play. And he makes his way down to the ring.
Cheerful as ever.
Oh, he is thrilled by this drama. He lives for this shit. And it would you like to play the role of Seth Rollins?
Sure.
All right.
Comes out and he says, Sacramento! Our voices left. Let's give it up for your tribal chief because after over a decade, you're finally getting it, man. You're finally starting to put the pieces together all by yourself. You're almost there. You're just missing one little piece, and it's a real shame it's too little too late because I still got to end you at WrestleMania, and it's for the same reason it's always been, because it's the right thing to do. See this triple threat match at WrestleMania? This is the biggest and most important triple threat match in the history of WrestleMania, in the history of this company, in the history of this industry, because the winner of this match will define the future of our industry. No, it can't be you. It can't be you. Because if this business is filled with people like you, people that don't show up except for when it's convenient and wants everybody to do all the dirty work, then this business dies. And it can't be CM Punk either. And you're starting to figure that out. Because if this business is filled with little CM Punks running around who'll pick up their ball and go home when times get tough, only to come back and leech off the profits of other people's success, this business dies. And then the audience starts to chant CM Punk. And Seth says, "Y'all want the business to die, do you?" Well, I don't. Because if this business is filled with people like me who will sacrifice physical and mental well-being to do what's best for business, the business not only lives, it thrives. There could only be one, and it has to be me. And as for that one little piece that you haven't quite figured out, favors don't happen by chance, Roman. Favors are a choice. I chose not to put Paul Heyman in the hospital last week, and now Paul Heyman can choose whether or not he wants to pay that debt to me. But your wise man, he is dishonorable as they come. He's a scumbag, and I expect nothing from him. Paul Heyman is not in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania by chance. Paul Heyman has made a choice. It's not just the betrayal, Roman. What you need to ask yourself, the final piece in this puzzle. He's not just returning a favor, he's choosing. You got to figure out why he is choosing CM Punk over you.
Which causes Roman Reigns to respond, "Wise man, he's right. You made your choice, and I made mine." And then Roman proceeds to clothesline Seth Rollins like completely out of the ring.
Yeah, to the sun. He gets clothesline.
Yeah, he closed. Well, actually, I think actually he clotheslined the crap out of him and then drove him shoulder first into the ring post, and that's how he ended up outside. I just remembered the clothesline because it was sudden. Like he was like, bam, and then suddenly Rollins is on the mat. And this tickles Paul Heyman because he figures, oh, okay, so Roman's choosing me. And so Paul is all, "I acknowledge you, my tribal chief." And then Reigns looks at him, and then with disgust, he pie faces Heyman onto the ground. And it's at this point that Heyman's super best bud in the whole wide universe world, CM Punk, storms to the ring. And he ducks a clothesline from Reigns, and then him and Reigns get into some back and forth punches, and Punk manages to clothesline Reigns over the top rope. And then Punk goes to check on Heyman, and that allows Reigns to get back into the ring, whereupon he spears the ever-loving shit out of CM Punk. And then he starts to ground and pound CM Punk. And then, do you want to say it? Because it's Rollins.
Oh. What did he say? After,
It's not what he said. It's where he got into the ring and did that thing to Reigns.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So then he gets into the ring, and he hits Roman in the back with a chair, like Shield style, and it's just fucking 360 all over again.
Flashback.
Yeah, flashback all over again. And I think, that's pretty much it. Like he hits him with the chair, and and then after that chair, he gives CM Punk a curb stomp, and then he gives Roman a curb stomp, and then he grabs the chair, and he starts staring at Heyman, and then that's it. That the show goes off the air.
Yep. Then credits. Man, that's twice now. Seth looks like he's on the upper hand.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Man.
we'll talk more about I was about to say something, but yeah,
Yeah. I know it's hard.
I don't
Um,
see him winning though. We'll talk about that.
what?
Yeah,
But he's a visionary and a
he is.
revolutionary
He is.
and
Yes.
and an architect, and
Yes.
he knows what's best for business.
Yes, he does. What's
He's Seth
best
freaking
for business.
Rollins.
He is. He is. And he will still be that when he does not win this match.
Aw,
But that is a conversation
whoa.
for another night. For
Indeed.
me, this particular episode, I would give it 8 solid neck nubs. Um, the promos were decent. I think they kept on track what they were trying to do, which is get as much entertainment as they could out, whilst also setting up these WrestleMania matches that are coming up just 5 days from today. So I
Yep.
thought it was good, and the weakest match still wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad match, but it was just the weakest match among other good matches. So I can comfortably say that this is at least an 8. For my viewing pleasure, for my opinion, I think 8 neck nubs. You?
I am inclined to agree with you pretty much to the letter. For me, you pretty much said it. Like, none of these matches were bad. There was one I was personally disappointed with because of what's going on with Karrion Kross. That is me. The match itself was okay. So yeah, there wasn't any negative point. Like, all of the promos were very good. I think they did a good job building heat for those matches that are coming up, in, like you said, at the end of the week at WrestleMania. Wow, we're almost there. I can see the end of the road to WrestleMania. So for me, I agree. 8 neck nubs, which makes this a top tier episode.
Yep.
Well, that has been our coverage of WWE RAW from April 14th. And I want to thank everybody who joined us for this episode. And I absolutely invite you to, in this WrestleMania week, join us for our next and upcoming episodes, as we will have a predictions episode. We'll likely cover SmackDown, and of course, we will cover WrestleMania. Until then, I don't think there's much left for me to do but roll the outro.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest AEW and WWE news and shows. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Follow us on social media for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.